They're like, why is he so well fed? It is a special night for me, ladies and gentlemen. I am officially filming my first comedy special. It's a bit wild. And it happens to be on the same day that I hit 1 million on TikTok, which is crazy. For those of you old folks who don't know what TikTok is, it's basically how us millennials and Gen Zs get attention. One thing that you will recognize about me throughout my set, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm like low-key handsome. Yeah. Not like a lot, but like enough, right? I look like I get by. And I think the main reason that I'm like low-key handsome is just because I have a sexy accent. Right? Helps me out a lot, yes, yeah. It takes my sexiness up by about 10%, which comes out to a total of 10% sexy. The other 90% is just like humor, personality, other things people don't care about. My accent comes from a very exotic place. My accent is from Harare, Zimbabwe. Yes, that's in Africa, for those of you that don't know. And I know what goes through people's minds when I say I'm from Africa and I look like this. They're like, why is he so well fed? It's a new diet I've been trying out called the American Dream. Another question you might have for an African is, where is your loincloth? That is formal wear. We only wear that when we're feeling really fancy. And of course, the most common question I get is, if you're from Africa, then why are you white? And these are all very valid questions, and they have one simple answer. You are ignorant. Because there's actually some food, clothes, and white people in Africa, as shocking as that may seem. But I understand the doubt. I understand where that doubt comes from, right? Sometimes I look in the mirror as a fat white African in the morning. And I'm like, you shouldn't be a thing! Right? Because it's kind of like I'm like Bigfoot, right? Like, yeah, there's enough evidence to back my existence, but like, deep down, you just feel stupid for believing it. It's been weird, ladies and gentlemen. I moved straight from Zimbabwe and came over to America. But the weird thing about that was that I didn't go anywhere like cool in America. I didn't go to like New York or LA. No, I went straight from Zimbabwe to Utah. The whitest place on earth. More specifically, I came here for school at BYU, the whitest college in the whitest place on earth. And that put me in some weird situations. For the most part, in general, actually, I was the token African guy in most social settings. Yeah, which I feel like speaks volumes for diversity here at BYU. Maybe that should be like BYU's new slogan, like Brigham Young University. Even the Africans are white. It's been interesting living out here, obviously. But I feel like I've been struggling with dating, ladies and gentlemen, which wasn't a problem. But I think there's multiple reasons for that, right? One of the main reasons is that I'm a big nerd, right? I have all these weird thoughts that go through my head, you know? Like, for instance, like growing up, a lot of people in my hometown were very superstitious, right? Like, who here grew up with like friends or family members that thought like Pokemon, Harry Potter, and Hannah Montana were satanic? Yeah, a few family members for you guys. My whole community believed that in Zimbabwe, right? So I ended up becoming like a Potter pusher, right? Other kids were smuggling drugs and alcohol into their bedrooms. I was smuggling the Prisoner of Azkaban. My bedroom became affectionately known as the Chamber of Secrets. It was a weird time for me. And this is the thing, I have all these weird concepts going through my mind. One of them being that as I watch like stuff like Harry Potter, all I can think of is, wow, J.K. Rowling really hates fat people. You guys don't believe me, but let's look at the evidence real quick. Right? All of the bad guys in J.K. Rowling's books and movies are mostly fat. Crabbe and Goyle, the Dursleys, Professor Umbridge, right? Think about the paintings and ghosts. All the thin ghosts get epic names like Nearly Headless Nick. The fat ones are the Fat Lady and the Fat Friar. She was like, I'm just not going to give them a name. There's only two good fat characters. The first is Hagrid, a guy who lives in a shack off campus, which, as a college student, I can relate to. And then that one kid that knew what the Grim was when they were doing tea leaf readings, which is food magic. Way to stereotype J.K. Rowling. And that's the thing, I'm a big nerd, and so I can acknowledge the fact that, you know, like, I am a nerd, and I think that affects me because, like, I feel like nerd culture discriminates against its own people, right? Because its own people are fat white guys. Like, I look like I've just been sitting around for a while, haven't I? Yeah. And that's the thing, like, dating is so hard out here, mainly just because I'm fat. And that's just because of the way that people treat fat people. Like, for one example, most of my skinny friends only like to set me up with their other fat friends. Yeah, the fat people giggled, the skinny people were like, oh crap, he figured it out. Who told him that? We know, okay? We understand that you guys are doing this, but we don't understand why. And I wouldn't take offense to this, honestly. I don't mind dating fat people. I love fat people. What I don't like is when they're setting us up, these skinnies. They're setting us up. They never use adjectives that, you know, you'd usually associate with, like, you know, a human being, right? It's never like, they're beautiful, they're intelligent, they're amazing. No. What it's usually like is they'll say something along the lines of, I know they're a little bit bigger, but... and then insert some ridiculous information they think will relate to us, right? Like, in my case, it's usually like, I know they're a little bit bigger, but, like, they use soap. Wow, eternal companion right there, right? With me being from Africa, in their case, it's probably more along the lines of, like, I know he's a little bit bigger, but, like, if you pay for the meal, you're technically feeding an African child. And that's a tax write-off, too. Benefits of dating me. Right, I just don't understand the logic, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand the logic of putting two people together because they have the same body type. Like, you don't see me going up to skinny people and being like, hello, I recognize that you are particularly scrawny. Yeah. Do you see that scrawny individual over there? You're soulmates now. Also, they use soap. It doesn't work. I just don't understand, like, why? Like, what do you get out of it? Do you just need, like, a cute fat couple to watch in between seasons of This Is Us? Or is it more of, like, a survivalist, like, coronavirus thing, where you're like, if we breed them now and disaster hits, food storage as far as the eye can see? I think we're underappreciated, us fat people. I do believe that. Fat people are underappreciated. Because if you look at us throughout history, we've been there for you guys all the time, you skinnies. Right? Think about it, right? Nothing's more motivational than a fat person. Right? People are like, oh, I like to watch, like, fitness models and Arnold Schwarzenegger's on my wall, right? No. For I know for a fact that you are looking at fat people and you're like, at least I'm not them. You're watching me on stage right now and you're like, at least I'm not him. Right? And that's what I don't understand, is because we are exactly what you need in this world. Think about us as, like, every single stereotype in every movie. Every fat friend is always the wingman. We're always setting you up, because that's true in real life. We are the best wingmen, right? Think about, like, Fairy Godmother in Cinderella. She was the dopest wingman ever, right? Cinderella was a skinny white girl cleaning floors. A fat girl comes into her life and makes her a queen. That's fat girl magic, baby. I do like the fairy godmother, mainly just because she, like, cast these spells, right? Like, she changed a dog into a human, changed rats into horses, changed a pumpkin into a carriage, which is food magic. The only good food magic out there. And I just feel kind of sorry for you guys. I feel sorry for all of the skinnies out there. Because you guys aren't willing to go outside of your boundaries, right? Right? Because if you were, you'd understand one simple fact. Fat people are better at making out than you are. You guys don't believe me, but let's look at the facts. The fact is, anything with a higher fat content tastes better. That's right, all the butter, baby. All the butter. We're also really well practiced. Yeah, just ask any of the 23 pieces of chicken I've eaten in the last week. They'll tell you, right? We know what we're doing with our lips. Like, my body may not be well exercised, but you can bet my lips are. So date and kiss fat people, right? Single people. How many single people we got in the room tonight? Single people. Couple of you guys. Go out and date a fatty right now. If you're married, get real fat. Just get real fat. Because if there's one promise I can make you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's this. Once you taste a fatty snack, ooh, baby, there's no going back. Been out here for 5 years, and I love America. Let's get a round of applause for America. Love America so much. There's multiple reasons why I love America. The main reason is fast food, as you can tell. Love fast food, because you have to understand from an African perspective. In Zimbabwe, when we're usually talking about fast food, it's usually in reference to how fast food runs away from us. Yeah. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm definitely more of a gatherer than a hunter, so it works out well for me. So many things that I like out here, but there's a few things that I don't like. Like, one thing I don't understand is winter. Because, yeah, again, you have to understand from an African perspective. Literally, the sky is falling on you guys, right? Killing things. And you guys are like, let's play in it. Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Another thing I don't like is peeps. Who here likes peeps? Cool, so we know who's going to die from diabetes then, yes? Get your affairs in order. I actually learned not to like peeps before I even came to America, which was like a weird thing, right? Because you see, I was working in charities growing up all throughout my life. And the one time we got this excess shipment, right? And it was weird because the first thing that came out was a used barrel of underwear. That was weird because we saw the skid marks and we were like, what is going on in America? Like, this is what they're sending. But then what followed, we saw all this candy. And we were like, what is this? Saltwater taffy? Peeps? They're clearly saving the best candy for the African kids. All right, so we took it immediately. We packed up our trucks full of the candy. We go out to the villages, right? And you have to understand, when we go out to villages, like, we're all like vibing, right? Like, Africans, like, we're like, hey, you know, we dance, we break it down. Everyone's like calling me Santa Claus. And they're like, it's mainly just because he's fat and white. Yes, yeah. Right? And so we're dancing, and I was in a group full of children, right? There was this 4-year-old boy in particular, though. He's breaking it down. He's like, this is America, you know? Breaking it down. And I was like, okay, clearly this kid deserves the first bag of Peeps, right? So I hand him the bag. He rips it open. He shoves his arm in. He puts it in his mouth. And what was absolute happiness and joy immediately turned to sheer horror and dread on his face. And he spat it out. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but how bad does a candy have to be that a starving African child is literally like, no, I'm good, I don't need that in my life? Yeah. Take some of that chocolate underwear, though. Yeah, that looks good. Funny. As I said, I've been out here for a while. I've been out here 5 years. It's been super fun. I've had a lot of really cool things happen in those 5 years. One of those things is I came out as gay in November of last year, which was great. I was 25 when I did it, which was crazy, right? Because you never think about that. But the weird thing about that is you start getting like weird questions from people. Like, one of the main questions I got was like, why did it take you so long to be gay? Which is a good question to ask a gay guy, I guess, right? And there's multiple excuses I could give, fear, doubt, stuff like that. But if I'm honest, I think it's just because I'm super lazy. Right? I don't like working for things, right? I have a 2.6 GPA. You're not dealing with a genius here, right? And it was super funny because, I don't think you understand the expectations that come with being gay. Because when you're gay, you have to do so much more. You have to dress better. You have to exercise more. You have to give straight women dating advice. And if you've done that last one, you know how hard that is. Straight girls love crying. Also, why are they coming to me, a gay guy at BYU, for dating advice? I don't know what advice to give you, don't. It's fun. Another question that I always get is, Daniel, what was it like coming out? What was the reaction to you coming out? And the honest truth is, it was so loving and supportive, and I hated it. You were supposed to reject me, but no, you guys had to love me more. No, that's not gonna make a good memoir. You think Netflix is gonna buy the rights to the story of a gay boy who was loved and accepted by his community? Ugh, no! At best, that's the premise for a Christmas Hallmark movie. The only thing missing in that situation is a family-owned bakery going out of business and a horse that doesn't like me now. It's different. And now, this is the funny thing. As I've come out as gay and I've been reflecting on my life previous, I feel I've been observing all the weird stuff I used to do, right? Because I did date girls for the longest time, right? I tried to impress girls, tried to impress women. One memory that sticks out very fondly is we do weird stuff when we're trying to fall in love, right? Because love is already a weird thing for us, right? Love is this weird back and forth of passion where you're just oh, I just want to love you, right? It's this weird dump you need to take. Because love is crap. Right? I used to do weird stuff to try and impress girls. I was this will get them. Right? One thing was when I was 7 years old, my sisters used to have their friends come over. And my idea of impressing these women was flinging a door open, screaming at the top of my lungs, yeah! Then shutting the door abruptly behind me and thinking smugly to myself, oh, now they've had a real taste of Daniel. So I'm irresistible, baby. Right? Or maybe that was me prepping them beforehand. I was if I show them how high and shrill my voice is now, then imagine how impressed they'll be when my voice drops. The only problem is, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm 26 and I'm pretty sure I haven't finished puberty yet. Yeah. You see, my natural voice can go entire octaves higher than it already has. You see, I sound more like a lady instead of a man, but I sound like a man instead of a lady, which is ironic because I still sound like a lady when I speak because I sound like Margaret Thatcher. It's bad. And then I became a teenager, and if you thought I was awkward with love in childhood, oh, it's about to get a whole lot worse. Right? Because as I said before, I would do weird stuff, but eventually I got very nervous around girls, right? I'd get very nervous when they used to speak to me. When I got nervous, I would sweat. But this wasn't that regular sweat. Yeah. This was that teenage pubescent sweat. The type of sweat where your body literally just plays a game of Twister with you, right? It's I guess you're sweating from your calves now, yay! Good for you, good for you. Also, I was 300 pounds, so while you guys were regularly sweating, I was the water source for the River Nile. That's a geography joke for people that play geography games on the weekends because they don't have dates to go on. Or in other words, married people. No hate, married people. I just wish I had regularly sweated, right? Because regular people would sweat from their forehead or their armpits, right? I would have killed for armpit sweat. You guys want to know where I did sweat from? Underneath my breasts! Yeah. All the people laughing at that are fat guys and ladies. They're the only ones that get that joke. Because you lean forward a little too much, and then you stand up and you've developed crescent moon shapes underneath. And you just have to act like they're normal. It's the worst. So I just didn't talk to girls because my boobs wouldn't stop sweating. I stopped talking to them. Right? And then it came time for the senior dance, and I was crap, I don't know any girls because my boobs won't stop sweating. So I asked my popular cousin, I was like, hey, can you help me get my sweaty boobs out? And I was like, he was like, yeah, I can help you in your sweaty boobs out. And so he set me up on a blind date. Yeah. Enter Amy. For convenience purposes, we're going to call her Amy, because that's her real name, and I want you to hate her just as much as I do. I sacrificed a lot for Amy that night. One thing in particular, as a gay guy, I was like, I really need to make sure she likes me. I want to be the best version of me I can be. 300 pounds, remember that? So I went to my sister, I was like, Brittany, what can I do to be a little thinner? She was like, I have these things called Spanx. All the ladies are laughing and all the dudes are like, what the crap are Spanx? To describe them, just imagine someone's duct taping your body really tightly, but that duct tape is on fire and that duct tape is trying to suffocate you. Those are Spanx. Also, I realized that night, you can't pee in Spanx. Yeah, you think you can go to the bathroom? No, you end up in a stall, jumping up and down, bouncing around like a fool. No. I now know why ladies go to the bathroom together. It's not because they want to be around each other. It's because it takes a full team of people to get one person into a pair of Spanx. I sacrificed for Amy that night. I sacrificed for her. All right? And so I go to this pre-drinks party. I meet Amy there, right? She says hello, I say hello, and then she just disappears. So trying to be a good date, I'm like, I need to find her, right? So me and my sweaty boobs go on a research party. And we're like, yeah, let's go find Amy. And we find out she's in the bathroom, so I go up to the bathroom door. As I'm approaching, I start to hear like crying, right? That's not how she actually cries, that's just how I want to remember it. Amy is an ugly crier. As I got closer to the door, I heard the words clear as day, ladies and gentlemen. Words clear as day. He's just so fat. At this point, I realized I'm a boss. I'm gay. I don't need her. So I decided to pull out a little bit of my childhood charm. Yeah. I flung that door open, and I screamed at the top of my lungs. Then I shut the door behind me, because I'm Daniel, and I'm irresistible, baby. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Local man robs Wendy's with alligator. We're the alligator boys now.
And the baby be sitting with the bank should be going, Mom,